Do you think this is really going to happen? We're going to have a few graphics pointers here. We're also going to put out types of our GDP and the earliest types that we've been putting out so that we have a good interplay. We can refer to certain numbers. The Sensex picking up there. So there's buoyancy. Generally, even some amount of expectation, the sentiment is positive, and that Nirmala Sitharaman will be gladdened by. Sunday, of course, for the first time in history, we're presenting a budget on a Sunday. Yes.
There are expectations or people look for in the budget on the direct tax side, both on income tax as the corporate tax, and also on the indirect tax side, since GST is not part of the budget, it's on customs and excise. So let me, on the direct taxes side, I think both the corporate taxes as well as the individual income tax have been taken care, have been given good concessions, the rates have been rationalized, liberalized in the past budgets. So I wouldn't expect anything more in the sense of giving concessions, but there is one major agenda left there. And that agenda is that there are two regimes still. The old regime
and the
is
new one.
Very low, it has not been changed for 11 years. There has been very low exemption and very high rate of taxation on that. But there are exemptions there. The new regime is very balanced, very fairly taxed, in fact over concessional to some extent. I think it's time now to merge both of them, have only the new tax regime and build some of the good incentives into this and abolish the old tax regime. I think that is one thing which should be. We can also look at a customs package because we have very high incidence of duties and that is required to be rationalized. We are doing it in many FTAs now.
Right.
So let us make it a major package on the
Okay, so there's a straight suggestion coming in for the finance minister, and we're getting into that business end now, viewers. You're seeing pictures coming on your screens from that cabinet meeting. That's where the budget contours will be discussed and shared amongst ministers, and of course there you can see the finance minister talking to Draupadi Murmu, who is India's president, and giving her a brief really of the broad contours of the budget. So obviously that, we would love to be a fly on the wall there. But I'm just telling PCR and the director Saab to fire some of the Skype graphics that we have, that we might have even put out earlier, so that we can give you an overview of the macro picture of the economy. So let's do that. I also want to welcome Suhail Seth. Suhail Seth, if you're there with us, your big expectations. Your big expectations from this particular budget. What do you expect the finance minister to be doing? There's a bit of elbow room. We are doing well macroeconomically. Some problems at the micro level, but what's your big one?
Prime Minister Modi took over. The first thing he said, the business of government is not to be in business. If the finance minister stays off business, it will help India.
Right.
Number one. Number two, Rajiv Kumar, who was also a quasi-bureaucrat in running Niti Aayog, I love his confidence in taking on Mr. Garg and blaming the bureaucracy. The point here, Rahul, is we have created a bureaucracy which has a problem for every solution. We need to get rid of that. Having said that, I think the bureaucracy has also steered India with great confidence and with, a lot of value. I have four things to say. Number one, the job situation is dire. You may not believe it, it is dire. Start talking to people, start traveling around the country, and you will see how dire the job situation is. Santosh is absolutely right. If you do not encourage MSME, you are killing the entire job potential of India. Number two, AI, whether you like it or not, is here to stay. But it's just like what happened with Y2K. We all went nuts saying, oh, Y2K, end of the world. It's not going to happen. Number three, the ease of business is miserable. Miserable. They will never tell you that because we are a great country for rah-rah, everything's good. Ease of business is very problematic. Number four, if you're rich and you can steal, you will get a bank loan. If you're poor or not as rich and you want to start a business, you don't get one. I think our banking regulations or the way we provide funding for mid-cap or lower-cap businesses is critical. Look, Rahul, the problem is as simple. GDP, we've got 6.7, 7%, blah, blah, blah. You have to look at two things. One is, how long will Rajiv Kumar and, the two ladies and Santosh and Mr. Garg, how long will we subsidize India and Indians? This whole freebie nonsense has to stop, because that money is not Mr. Modi's or Mrs. Sitharaman's. It's your and my money as taxpayers, which is going to, it's creating an army of lazy Indians who don't want to do anything because they're getting all these sops. Number two, we have to incentivize industry.
Yeah.
I will tell you this because I advise some of the biggest companies here. A lot of companies feel that their investments outside India may well be profitable. Look, Trump is a hiccup. He hopefully will vanish after he finishes his term, if not before.
Yeah.
But the point is that we can't always be dependent on, oh, the tariffs have increased, what do we do? Look at what Modi did during COVID. We were able to manage our economy on our own. There was a certain self-resilience.
Okay.
And I need to build that.
Let me open that. Let me get those thoughts in. Stay with me. I just also want to bring in Anuj, who is my colleague from CNBC, managing editor, Anuj Singhal, CNBC Awaz. Anuj, I just want to talk a little bit about the gold and silver crash that has taken place this morning. What do you put this down to?
Rahul, good morning. Look, that simply can be put down to unwinding of positions. Silver prices had gone one way from $40 to about $120. The ETFs had taken unnecessarily large leverages both in US and in India, and at some point something had to give. The trigger was the US President Donald Trump announcing Kevin Walsh as his nominee for Fed chairman, and Kevin Walsh's policies are against asset price inflation, and that was the reason that you saw this kind of collapse. But when you pump something beyond a point, when some asset class is in a kind of a parabolic move, all it needs is, it's like it's a bubble which is waiting to be pricked, and you just needed a trigger, and that trigger came.
So are you saying it's only a course correction? Because some people are saying the US dollar has strengthened sharply, while US bond yields remain elevated on expectations that perhaps interest rates will now hold and stay higher for longer.
Rahul, this might be above my pay scale, because anyone who can answer this question correctly over the next 1 year is going to be multi-millionaire. Whether this is actually a top in gold and silver, or this is just a fall in a parabolic market, like you saw in the case of Bitcoin. You never know. An asset class which goes up 10 times in between will have 30-40% corrections. Now, if this is one of those big parabolic moves in gold and silver, which is going to take gold and silver much higher, and keep in mind, this is actually right now a big global battle between US and China, and China is not going to let it go easily. So this is about de-dollarization over the next 3 years. Donald Trump is going to be in office for next 3 years. There's going to be a bit of a China versus US playing out. Who wins? I think that's going to be a multi-trillion dollar question. But right now,
I'm going to ask you a simple one.
It would be too early to call it the.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you deceptively.
I'll not stick my neck out.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to ask you a deceptively simple question.
I'll not stick my neck out.
Let me just put it this way. Is it the right time to buy? Is it the right time to buy? Buy gold. Buy gold.
Look, you're asking
silver.
A gold bull. I've always been a gold bull. I have been buying gold for last 4 or 5 years, and I continue to believe that gold is something that you must have in portfolio. Silver is a different beast altogether. Right now there's a bit of a meme going on in the market that कल तक silver EV में भी लग रही थी, commodity में भी लग रही थी, आज सिर्फ वो काजू कतली में लग रही है. So silver is slightly different because the kind of run that it has had. But I think if you ask me, gold I'm still buying.
Okay, gold he's still buying. He's a gold digger. Okay, great. We're all going to dig for gold, and we are hoping that we'll all go and find our El Dorados. That's an important tip. Thank you, Anuj. Thank you very much for giving us your insight. Yes, Nalin, you have a big news coming in.
Quick updates on, we're talking about El Dorados and gold. The metal index has plunged 5%. Gold and silver prices have crashed this